Making something like this was always hard in Blender. You could try using an array, but it would really be hard to make. But now it's much easier thanks to geometry nodes and simulation nodes. And let me show you how you can quickly make this. You can see it's actually procedure, and I can change everything. So let me start with a new project file here. All you need is a curve object and design the shape you want. If you look at this image, you will notice that every step has a different shape. So we're going to make those steps. Let's start with something simple, maybe add a few subdivisions. So this is going to be our first step. Add some shape keys. So that is going to be the basis. And then this is shape 1. We can make something that looks like that. And shape 2, we can vary the shape even further. You can add as many shapes as you want. Let's turn it into a circle, just so we really have a lot of variation. If you deactivate relative, you can scrub through the different shapes you have created. And this is very important because that's how we're going to be able to instance the different shapes. Another thing we could do is come in here in edit mode and then Ctrl H to hook the points to an object. And now we can animate this how we want. So I'm going to move this, and you can see that the chair is also moving with it. And I'm also adding some slight rotation. So if I play back, you see we get something like that. And that's how the shape is going to be. Okay, so now we go to geometry nodes. It's very, very simple to set up. It has to be the curve on the curve. Select that. And all you have to do is add geometry per frame. And to do that, you just use simulation nodes. You connect this geometry and here. So here, if we play back, we don't really see much happening. But if we add this same geometry into the simulation using join geometry, and if you remember correctly, simulation zone work in a loop. So whatever you add into this, they run it every frame. So if you're adding geometry by using this join geometry, it means we can add the same geometry over and over into the frame. So if I play back now, you can see we are adding the same thing into the frame. So now if we play back, you see what we have. We basically have the chair, but our shape is not changing. To make sure that it's changing, we just have to figure out our start and end frame. So we are starting at 0 and ending at 30. So we can come to this and start animating this value here, so that the geometry that is being added in is also changing. So we just have to animate this until this key 3, which is 30. So if we play back, you can see how the keys are changing and giving us the shape we want. You can add in more points by simply scaling your keyframes, and that will add in more control points. But you also have to make sure that you also scaling these keyframes, your deformation keyframe or your shape keyframes like that. And you can already see that we have something similar to this. All we have to do is now give this some thickness, and that's very easy. You just have to curve to mesh like that and create a profile using a curve circle like that. Radius can be 0.1. Resolution should be 4. Now, one thing you will notice is that the shading is not very good. So I'm going to come here and do a split edges after the curve to mesh, and do shade smooth. But because of split edges, every face is a separate face. So if I do a scale elements here, you should see that each face is an individual face. We don't want that. So to make sure that that's not the case, we have to split by angle. So add a selection to our split edges. So I can do an edge angle, connect that there, so that each of these is split depending on the angle of the face. So I can even do a user compare. You can see now we are reducing the faces that are being split. Yeah, I think that's good enough. We don't need these elements. I just wanted to show you that we are splitting by faces. This area here, the faces are too sharp. So all we have to do is change the curve normal. So if we look for curve normal, set curve normal, change it to Z up. Okay, our circle here that we are connecting here is it's a rectangle. We actually want it to be 4 points, not 3. Add a transform node and rotate this, I think, on the by 45 degrees. So that is a square like that. And now we should be able to, if you don't see anything, just go back to frame 1, and now you can see how things are looking. Yeah, basically that's how you do that. I went in and added some materials, and you can see that looks really nice. And again, this is procedure. So if I changed the position of this object here, this empty, it should change the direction of my chair, and I guess I need to rotate it. So the last part is just to convert this into a mesh so that when you play back, it doesn't start from scratch there. So just make sure you're at the last frame and just right click, convert to mesh, and now everything will be applied and you have your chair ready to go. See, thank you for watching. Project files are going to be in the description.